Okay, recording's in progress. Do you hear it when hit
Yeah,
record? It says recording in progress.
it was recording in
Okay.
progress.
Okay. I always
So
wondered.
first of all, Aaron, I want to tell you thank you so much for the shirt.
Yeah, that wasn't. I know you said to just give it to you, but we wouldn't want to hang on to it. So Elizabeth is already going to the mail, so she's put it in a bag and sent it.
That's where I was like, "What's this?" I was like, "Why is this here?" I'm
Yeah.
supposed to come from him from Atlanta, but I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
Sorry, man.
Hey, that's not a big deal. I was just trying to save you guys a little bit of
No,
work.
it's part of it, right? And it's fine. It's also we're trying to like still figure out how to use the systems and stuff.
Gotcha.
So it's just doing it.
Just practice.
Yeah. But speaking of Pro Atlanta, you sent me that thing about doing the vendor deal, right? And I looked into that. So, like for full gas to be a vendor at the Moto America event at Road Atlanta, there's a couple little hoops you got to jump through. One of them is you have to have some type of not event liability. It's an insurance thing. Vendor liability,
Okay.
something like that, or comprehensive insurance. Anyway, there's just some insurance things you got to jump through. And we don't have that type of insurance, so I'm going to go look and see how to do that. But it's too close to try to like jam that through.
Oh,
So
I'll send it to him and
yeah, no, it's a fine, it's good. I didn't even realize, I didn't even think about like, oh yeah, they'll have vendor stuff there. So now we know, and we'll be better set up certainly for next year. But we're going to try to do Barber.
okay.
Yeah, so Barber's 3 hours away from us. So definitely, if I can do, we can get into the Barber vending thing, that would be really good. Definitely. So no, I appreciate you sending that over. So like they charge $300 for a 10 by 10 spot, and you
Okay.
can't have a vehicle next to it. So literally pop up, right?
Okay.
And then I think if you go to a 10 by 20, which is what we have, the canopy we have now, it's like 400 and it goes up from there. So it's interesting. I haven't actually considered events like that for vending, but definitely like, got to do that. So stuff's a little stagnant on the site. We get traffic, and I'm running some Facebook ads trying to see kind of feel out how that's going to go. But there's nothing like new because I said I was going to do this video about a rear set comparison. I've just got to
Mhm.
finish that, get it out there, get people to you know whatever bite off on buying a rear set basically at a discount. So hopefully someone wants to do that.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's kind of weird. Had some people, buddies of mine, because I was kind of running some stuff by them, like, hey, what do you think about this ad? Or what do you think about this? Or here's some comparison stuff. And they go like, dude, it just takes time. I'm like, dog on it. Of course it does. But
I mean, most brick and mortar businesses, if you can get through the first year, you're probably going to be okay.
okay. Well, I
The
mean,
first
brick
year
and
is the
mortar,
hardest because nobody knows who you are.
I know, and I realize that, and I accept that. I'm not trying to like be something we're not or anything like this.
Or
But it is definitely like I expected, I don't know, something a little
yeah,
bit more than what it is. It's like nothing.
yeah, it's flat. It's real flat.
Completely flat. Yeah. So unless I go out there and say something on YouTube, which is the heavy hitting heavy hitting, marketing avenue we have right now, it's really not much of anything's happening. So we'll get there. We'll get there.
Well, I know I'm trying to like revamp my um, racing Facebook stuff. So if that happens, I don't mind doing like an ad read or whatever.
Well, what I would suggest is so you're doing Hendrix Racing, right? Which, by the way, sounds great because Hendrix, is that kind of name that everybody knows, right? And it's just Hendrix
Yeah,
Racing. It's perfect. It's great.
we
So,
we can get it. We can get into that crazy story later.
yeah. Yes. So, sticking with Hendrix Racing and then doing your YouTube as, Hendrix Racing, right? All you got to do, like, I don't have my camera right here, but you take a GoPro on a stick. Okay.
Mhm.
I have has a little tripod feet and it extends out, 3 times its length. And I mean, that's perfect, right? So you take a GoPro, gosh, it could be anything really, but like I use a Hero 7, or you can get a Hero 10. I just bought a Hero 10 so that I could connect to my dash. That's gonna be cool, but whatever. Anyway, Hero 10. I mean, like super high quality video. It's like 5.3K. You shoot it in 24 frames a second, and dude, I'm telling you what, you're gonna come across. You're gonna look good, and you just hold it like this. And you just walk around, and you go, "Hey, this thing happened while I was at the track." And then that's it. You know, that's dude. That's exactly what I would do.
Does Full Gas have a deal with GoPro
I haven't even like considered that, but yeah, I should probably look into that.
or any action camera company?
No, we haven't looked into any action cameras at all. I would prefer GoPro over something like Insta360. And I'm not against Insta360. I think they have a lot of good stuff. They probably have one of the better 360 camera user interface. If that makes sense. So like they have like a camera that's like this, right? This is a remote from a TV,
Mhm.
but anyway, it's like that big, right? And it's got just an eye on one side and an eye on the other, and they're completely opposite each other like that. And you see a lot of guys run those on a stick on
Yep.
their bike, right? It's fantastic. Um, can't run that on a racetrack. Or
Right.
I haven't seen. I think I've seen one guy do that, but whatever. So it's just frowned upon, right? So you don't do that. Um, and it's not bad. People can go in the app and they can sit there on their phone like this, and what they'll do is they'll be on their thing and they'll position the cameras pointing, or like the view of it, by literally doing this as they watch the video. And the software remembers that and then shows the viewer that image. So it creates a 2D image, 2D video image off of a three-dimensional file. It's crazy. It's really crazy. But I don't know if I like the cameras themselves. I think that there's some that GoPro does it better. Or
Sure.
yeah, I prefer GoPro. I don't know. I mean,
They've been around for a while.
yeah, I mean, right now your best bet is to go on Amazon. I mean, actually, like I tell people all the time, they go, where can I get a deal? And I'm going, well, just go on Amazon, man, because they got buying power and they snatch up, bundles of
They
them.
do. They do.
Yeah, I would start there. I'm gonna look into it. I certainly will. Thanks for the thought. I hadn't considered it. But yeah, go on Amazon. It's about 250 bucks. You get one with a charger, GoPro Hero 10, and it comes with its own like mounts and stuff. Like, yeah, you'll be able to mount it on your bike immediately.
Right. Yeah, I have Hero threes, I think, threes or fours.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's that's been a
Ancient.
while.
Yeah.
Man, I remember using this when I was stationed in Japan. Sorry, when I was stationed in Okinawa, even though it is Japan, it's not the same thing. Uh, we were running Gymkhana with like Subarus,
Mhm.
WRX, STIs, and stuff like that. And we had GoPros on the cars and stuff like that. It was the first time I was ever introduced to them. And I think we had Hero 2s,
Wow.
like silver, and I don't think black had come out yet. It was like Hero.
Silver, white, and black.
Yeah, that's right. So it's silver, white, and black. They obviously dropped white because that's can't talk about white, but silver and blacks are okay. Anyway, and you said those are out now. It's just funny that we're on like 10, and it's actually, I mean, it's a good camera. All right, let's be honest. But man, that's wild. And they used to come in those waterproof cases, right? So the sound always sounded like you were underwater. It was just like that. It just didn't never sounded good, but they figured that out.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's new with you? How you feeling? How you been? How's
Man, I
your
don't know.
thing going?
I'm trying to get the fitness thing, kind of rolling, because that's why, we do Chubby Club Racer podcasts, is to encourage each other, right? So that we don't stay chubby forever. So no, seriously, I did kind of like I reevaluated some things. I sent you some podcasts that
Hmm.
you saw from Dr. Ben Bankman is his name. He is a clinical nutritionist. Okay. And his laboratory out of a college, I think it's like, I don't know, Salt Lake City State College or something like that. It's a university type thing, or state college, whatever. But he's a tenured professor over there, and his deal is he studies fat cells, and that's what he does. and him and a few other guys. They do a lot of these different conversations called the Insulin Cast. Man, I'm gonna forget this. Hang on, I'm gonna look it up right here, and I'm gonna share the screen with everybody so they actually see this. But it's on YouTube, and I sent you the podcast. So let's see where he is. Let's see, Doctor
Metabolic Classroom.
Metabolic Classroom. There it is. All right. So yeah, let me get on to the thing. This is actually gonna be a good Zoom session because we're gonna do some cool stuff where we actually show people things. Well, how do I share my screen? If I knew how to use Zoom,
I don't
there,
know.
there it is. All right, I'm sharing my screen now. You see that?
Yep.
Yeah. So the metabolic classroom, right there. They've got some really interesting stuff like insulin resistance with metabolic syndrome. Dr. Ben Binkman, right? This guy's a nerd, right? He's just a total and utter fat nerd. And you can see he's got these great like YouTube thumbnails, but you know he's a cool guy, right? And the one that I had sent you, let's see if I can find it in here because he's got
It
it
was,
like episode 11 or something.
let me find it. It was, you sent me the intermittent fasting.
I think it was one of his
And
first.
are you making your fat cells hungry?
Yeah. So that one,
I think you just passed it.
your fat cells hungry, that is more interesting to me than the other one. And literally it goes into, I mean, like, look, he gets into all the different things. Where's it say? Does too much fat, dietary fat cause hypertension? You know, I mean, like these guys are straight up. I mean, he's got a little panel. You can see like there's four of them in here, and they're talking about different things. And anyway, his little segment is the metabolic side of it. And where here you go. Number one, hack to burn fat. I think that was his first. No, it wasn't. Dang. You know what? This is a lot easier when I don't have to do this for an audience.
It's all good.
Whatever. Live, recently uploaded, unwatched. I can't even.
But
No, go ahead.
it is interesting.
Yeah, and this is where I think that you know, obviously, like I'm certainly not a success story when it comes to losing weight. So I'm not going to stand here and be like, this is what you're supposed to do. But I will say, when I had got down to like right now, I'm 271, all right, and I had gotten down to 225, and that was mid 2001. I had been kind of following a lot of what he had been talking about. Yeah, 271.3 as of a couple days ago. And the big thing about fat is insulin. Okay, so insulin is a hormone that your body releases when you take in something that's going to raise your blood sugar, right? So insulin counteracts that. That's the whole point of insulin.
Right.
But insulin is also a signaler for something called lipoprotein lipase, and that's an enzyme in the fat cell that tells the fat cell to start gathering fat that's passing through the bloodstream, the triglycerides that are passing through the bloodstream, and collect that fat and then grow. Okay. So the whole idea of insulin and how it affects fat is so important because I think that a lot of people go on this, well, low calorie, right? Well, the problem is that low calorie doesn't actually address the insulin side of it. You just dump your caloric intake and you're going to lose weight like that. It's certainly going to happen. And his episode 11 here, let's see, this is 14. Episode 11 completely talks about that. There's 15, I'm going the wrong way. And I mean, like it completely addresses the fact that low caloric intake by itself doesn't work because your fat cells have an increased response to when insulin is introduced back in. Let's say you have low caloric intake, so, you know, very low insulin because you're just not eating a lot, and then you eat a balanced meal, right? So you have proteins, fats, carbs in proper distribution. That your body's response to that is something like 8 to 12 times higher to pulling in fat into your fat cells than it would be otherwise because you've been on a low calorie diet. So I'm just sitting there going like, oh, that's why whenever I lose a bunch of weight, it then comes back, you know?
Right.
It's like I want to slap myself sometimes because it's like, you got to be kidding me here. But his whole point is that in his study of insulin, carbohydrates are the thing. Like if you have carbohydrates above some level, and he's not going to name that level because it's different for everybody, but carbohydrates and what they do and how the insulin response happens in the body completely just adjusts what happens to someone when they gain or lose fat cells. And you're not gaining or losing fat cells, you're actually shrinking them because
Right.
you want them to be there. Which is interesting. People think that they want them gone. You really don't because they protect your body. They're a inflammation response. Like if you see people who are, I'm going to say obese in a kind of an unnatural way, all right? Like I would say I'm obese in a normal way, right? Like I'm proportionally, I haven't like,
Right.
I'm not weird, like I have a massive butt or something, right? And that's it, right? You see people who have like a disproportionate response to that, and they don't just gain weight everywhere; they gain weight in specific areas, and it looks just like unhealthy. Well, there's a reason. It's because it's unhealthy, number one. But number two is because your body is actually inflamed, and it's low level inflammation, and that's why we run around and we go like, oh, our joints hurt because, and you go, well, it's because you're overweight, and that's true because of the extra weight, but it's also true because of the low level inflammation that's running along, and your body literally is responding to that by creating more fat cells, or not creating more of them, but increasing the size of its fat cells to take in all the garbage that's flowing through your bloodstream so you don't die.
Right. And
Yeah.
you know what's really good for that?
Yeah.
Cold plunge.
I mean, no, I don't know that, but so cold plunge. Okay.
It is so good. I love it.
Yeah. So cold showers, I've done cold plunges a few times. I have the thing. It just seems like such a setup problem where I'm just like, I gotta set it up and then I gotta get in it.
Yeah,
And
so I have that trough out back,
right.
and I just put I have 5 1 gallon containers of water that I have a freezer for,
Okay.
and I have these things that look like bread pan bread pans, I guess, where you could bake bread or meatloaf or whatever, and they're made out of silicone. And so
Yeah.
you fill those up with water. It creates about a 9 pound block of ice. And you just stick them in the freezer, and you just get those in there. Throw in the 5 1 gallon jugs, and let it sit for about an hour to 2 hours, and it gets cold.
Do you have a temperature on it?
I have a little I went and bought one of those little floating pool thermometer things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how cold does it get?
I've gotten it down to 60, bumping up against 59. I need to get more like gallon jugs and stuff. I just need more. I just don't
Close.
have enough.
Who's the we were talking about that, and there was a guy we kind of referenced. He was talking about cold plunge. Can't remember his name, but he was saying like mid 50s, right? Like 55.
Yeah. So I started looking into it because I would hear Joe Rogan talk about it all the time. He's like, I got one in the studio, I got one at the house. And if you watch his Instagram feeds, he'll actually post videos of him hopping in his cold plunge because, he lives in Austin now.
Yeah.
And he'll have to bust up ice off of it. And he gets it to like 38, 30. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
They've got theirs are special, and they got those like contained insulation.
yeah, so they have chillers, water chillers that just I'm assuming just stay running all the time. So they set it for you know
Some degree.
38 degrees, and it just keeps it going.
Okay.
I have more prep because when I was looking into them, the chillers are $600 to $1,200. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
that's where all your money's at for the most part with those things is those chillers. Those
Yeah.
chillers are expensive.
I wonder. So I've just got one of those troughs as well. Mine's plastic. It's like a 110-gallon
Mm-hmm.
plastic trough. And I've been thinking about making like a platform for it so it sits in and then like completely insulating all around it, right? Like sealed off, insulated, have some kind of drain situation where I could drain it out if I need to, and then put a lid on it, right? And that way,
Yeah,
I'm thinking hot summer days, like, okay, it doesn't cool down. So you're in Florida, you really know this, but even up here in the Atlanta region, it doesn't, if the middle of summer, like 70 degrees at night's a real thing. So you're not going to have 35-degree water,
right.
but you get it, cold, right? It's that shock is really the problem. So if you can get that change to happen, that's what's important. So, but I'm wondering if that would help, even in your situation. I wonder if that would help.
So I have it sitting on we didn't pour, we redid part of my patio. And so I have it sitting on concrete. Um, and the way my house is set up, the back of the house is actually facing east. So in the morning, it just gets cooked all day long.
Yeah.
Um, at night, it's not so bad. I try and do them at night just because it doesn't take quite as long to get the temperature down.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go dump ice in.
Yeah, that's rough. I know that they say you should try to do those in the morning. Like you do
Yeah,
warm shower at night and you do cold plunge or cold shower in the morning. And that's how you should wake up, basically. And then also how you go to bed. Like you actually go to bed better because it's complete opposite. You take a warm shower, right? You think it's going to warm you up, and it doesn't because your body's response to that heat on your skin is to cool you off.
right,
It's better to sleep, in a cooler room. So that's one of the better ways to like help you go to sleep. Opposite works for the in the morning, trying to wake up, get some heat in the body, right? Cold shower, boom, you get woke up and it does.
right.
So I can start doing cold showers for sure. And I got to figure something out with this. It's right out here. That's why I'm pointing over there. Yeah, it is my.
It's not bad though, man. I love it.
Oh, I've got three doors in this room. I was looking at the door in my thing, I was like, wait a second, that's not the outside door. Anyway, yeah, no, I know they're
If you
good, and I know they're
if
good.
you ever have a rough day at work,
Yeah,
I'm talking about just like a rough day.
you want to have like three beers in a row, kind of rough day.
I guess I don't drink, so sure.
Okay,
But
that's what.
you jump in that cold plunge, everything just disappears.
Yeah, because you got to like your body goes, whoa, survival or something like that.
Right. But it just the dopamine, the serotonin,
Yeah,
it all just shoots to the roof, and you're just like, oh, okay, like this wasn't so bad. Like
that's
it's
interesting. I had not thought about it.
it's weird. It's very strange, but dude, it's the best.
Okay, I might have to remember that. Yeah, I need to get mine set up again. At least get some water in it. I got to make a top so leaves and junk don't get in it.
I just honestly, I just bought some plywood.
All right, yeah, that's all I was gonna do. Honestly,
Just
I
clunk.
gotta get it up, so I don't want like when my little one's drowning in that this stupid thing. So I gotta put a lid on it that you can not get off, easily.
Right.
So,
Yeah, just threw some plywood on it and just
yep.
we have. I don't know how it is up there, but we have a real bad pollen problem.
Yeah, we're getting to the tail end of that. Like I'm surrounded by pine trees around here, so we get that pine tree pollen thing happening, but it's not horrible. It's
Yeah,
enough.
we haven't.
It's enough to where the water will be green. The top will.
And so I bought a little like a fish tank net
Yep.
so I can skim it and everything, and
Yeah, that'll work.
it works.
I saw a guy do this in a pool, but he took a hose and he just laid it in there, right? And it's running water. And he taped this little like arm with a net kind of facing the hose like that. And it literally creates a current throughout the whole pool. Like this is a 12-foot radius pool.
Right.
And all the little debris things would just get shot into this net as they kind of came by real slow. Takes about an hour, catches all the debris. So maybe while you're filling it up or something like that. I don't know. I'm just saying it's an interesting concept. But yeah, that little tiny thing maybe doesn't really matter. But I just saw that. I was like, man, that's actually
Yeah,
not.
and normally when I fill it up, I just leave it, and then every so often there's a plug on the bottom you just unscrew,
Yep.
and you drain all the water out, and then I just take a hose and spray out
Yeah.
whatever's in there, and then fill it back up again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool, man.
It's
Yeah,
it's worth it.
I need to do that then. I know that there were this one of the studies I read about. I did not read about it. Let me clarify. I saw somebody talking about a study that they read about, so I ain't got time for that. But anyway, they were talking about how cold plunge groups proportionally lost more body fat in the belly, and all the areas that no one wants to have fat, and they lost body fat, not body weight. There's a difference there.
Right, because you can use a boatload of water and lose weight.
Yep. I think that so people can. Right. So let's talk about that for a second. So if people go and they're like, all right, I'm gonna get on a low calorie diet and then I'm gonna just haze the crap out of myself, right? Hazing is a military term for like working out excessively,
Right.
or making someone work out excessively. Anyway, and they'll do that. But what's happening is because like the whole zone 2 thing where you train zone two too high and your highs are too low and that type of thing. So they'll sit there and they'll kill themselves in sprints and stuff like that. And what's happening is literally is your body can't burn fat because you're above the zone two threshold. So you have to burn glucose. So after you're out of glucose, it takes about 20 minutes to lose all the glucose you have in your blood and your pancreas, if I'm not mistaken. And then you don't have any glucose left, but you're still doing sprints. So where do you get it from? Your body can metabolize muscle proteins in 3 minutes into glucose. So you start eating muscle, literally. And then they just start this cycle where they're like, I'm not losing any body fat, but my weight's going down, but I'm starving. And then it's just this massive cycle of just, can't lose weight. And it's because it's just not appreciating what, the zone two threshold, what does insulin do, and how your body actually metabolizes certain things for energy.
Right.
So says the guys who, or guy, I'll speak for myself on this one, who has a hard time losing weight. So anyway,
Yeah, it's rough, but you know, you gotta do it.
yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to do keto right now. I normally am more like a meat kind of like carnivore. That's the way you lose weight.
Mhm.
I think it's a great reset. But I think keto, that's what worked last time. Like actually, when I go back and I look at what happened last time, where I got down, from where I am now, it's like 60 pounds. Um, Keto was how I got there, right?
Me too.
So I kind of go like, I'm going to do that. So that's what I've been doing recently, the past, I don't know, less than a week, but 5 days or something like that.
Have you seen a difference? Have you had keto flu or anything?
Yeah, I definitely had keto flu over the weekend. So I started it like last Thursday, right? And like Thursday night, I think I had a steak, and I was just like, okay, cool, whatever. And then Friday into Saturday. So I also didn't have any caffeine Friday. That was fun. But I just want to kind of like cold turkey, like step away from what I was doing and approach it from a different way. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. And it was, avocados and cheese and steak and eggs, lots of eggs. And I'll look into some other things. Like I know macadamia nuts are big into good fat
Hmm.
like that. So, but that's kind of where I started. Yeah, man, I had massive headaches, like right behind my head, like right there. Super tired for the whole weekend. Got through it. That's why like Sunday, we were going to do this. I think Sunday we were going to do a Zoom or something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
I was like, dude, I can't do it. I'm so tired. And I try to walk in the morning where I get on this treadmill and I just walk 40 plus minutes, right? Get into good zone two, 40 plus minutes where I'm just burning body fat, I'm sprinting my brains out. And that's kind of where I'm going right there. And, from last Thursday to Monday, I lost like, 6 pounds or something like that. So I'm going to say that's the initial drop. But, if it keeps going like that, it could be big. Yeah. So it's 70, you can see that.
Yeah.
So at 71 pounds, I was 277 there. It's up in the 280s right there, but pretty flat, mid 270s.
Yeah.
And that's in weeks. So you're looking at about 7 or 8 weeks. Yeah, so like 275 has been a solid average for me. But
Oh
that's
yeah.
what I'm doing right now, trying to I don't know, rebuild what it was a couple years ago in 2021.
So I've been doing a lot of cycling, and I'll go to the gym and I try and get 10 or so miles in. Um,
What's that for time? How much time is that? Sorry.
it depends. So I try and get it in as fast as possible, just to work up a sweat. That's really the point of the speed. It's not to get it over with. It's to get the heart rate up and actually get a sweat. Because I could easily do. I can pedal 10 miles an hour, no problem.
Sure. Yeah.
And I mean, no problem.
Yeah.
And so if I crank it up to 17, at least I'm struggling somewhere.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing that, and I can crank out about 10 to 12 miles in about 38 minutes.
Okay. So your heart
Yeah.
rate is up pretty high then, I imagine.
Yes, yeah. Let's
Okay.
see. Last time I did that was, I think, Friday. No, was this it? Yeah. So it was, I think, Thursday.
Yeah, the glare is bad. Oh yeah, you're in zone 4 there. I can see it. Oh, Todd's on. Guess what? We, I'm running out of time. There's only 4 minutes left.
If you wiggle your mouse in the okay, he'll probably jump back on. Should
Okay,
we
we're gonna
start up
cancel.
another one?
We're gonna cancel this, or I'm not cancel. I'm gonna stop this, and you're gonna resend him an invite. Okay.
Okay, I'll call in too.
All right. But hey,
All
we can
right.
play this episode where we actually talk about fat instead of